Hello everybody, welcome back. This is episode number 6 of the Amber Army YouTube channel's Football Manager 2018 experiment, Together Stronger, Revamped, Boosted Welsh League. Now, these are the leagues in focus. We've got all 8 divisions here, so you can actually see who's doing what at the top end of each of them, but the English Premier League is also thrown in on that one. But looking over here, a lot to look at in the JD Welsh Premier League. We'll get to them soon. The Cymru Alliance is still looking around about the same sort of teams, although the relegated teams from last year have fallen away, except Carmarthen knocking on the playoff door. But then you've got Rhyl and Monmouth in the Football League Division 1. The Welsh Alliance League Division 1 is Flint Town and them. From there on, if I can't pronounce them, they're them. Football League Division 2, Llanrwst and Pwllheli. Welsh Alliance League 2 is Llwyd Coed and STM Sports. Welsh Football League Division 3, Overton Rec and Pontyclun. And then the Welsh National League Premier is them. So I'm sick of trying to pronounce them correctly. I trip over my own words when I'm doing it. So this is the main league that we tend to look at, guys. This is the JD Welsh Premier League. And you remember I said from about 11th place up to 1st, it could all change, and look at that. Look how it's changed. Wrexham were in 11th and now in 5th. Cardiff were outside of the top 3, then 8 top, taking control of their division. They've won the league the last 2 seasons, looking for a 3rd in a row. Colwyn Bay are close by. Merthyr are there in 3rd place. Pennybont are still doing well. Wrexham, as we mentioned. Swansea getting themselves back into the mix. Llanelli have had a big turnaround. They've soared up. Newport County have dropped from the heavens and they're now in 8th. TNS have fallen off the boil a little bit. Barry are doing well, they're still there, but I mean, look at that. Newport County 32 points. They could be in 3rd in a game. That's why I love this so much. It's because this could just change, by the end of the season. Cardiff could end up finishing 10th and Guilsfield could go on a surge and win the league. That's why I love it so much. But the big disappointment this season is Prestatyn, who've finished inside the top 7 the last 2 seasons, and they're now in a relegation spot. And the other disappointment, other than Llandudno, of course, who have got that Parsonage guy who we've been looking at, is Kyasus, who came up with a lot of promise, but lost their star player for free to Bournemouth of the Premier League in England. So that's a disappointing one for them so far. Right, so the teams in Europe, let's just remind ourselves on that on this season preview. So Cardiff, they took the Champions Cup place, but they didn't make it to the Champions Cup. They only got into the UEFA Cup. How are they doing in that? Did they get through to the knockout rounds? No, don't staff one schedule. So Euro Cup, they lost to Club Brugge, then lost to Club... weird how So they beat Ludogorets and they beat Leverkusen and they lost a double-header to Club Brugge. Then they beat Ludogorets again, but they lost to Leverkusen. So that means, yes, they're 8. Cardiff City are 8 of Europe. The only other team who were left in it was Wrexham. But it says they're still in it, so let's have a little look at that. Yeah, they're in the first knockout round. They're going to be playing against Monaco. So how do they do in their group stage? They got through and they beat Salzburg. They then lost 4-0 to Liverpool. They beat Freiburg, then lost to Salzburg, then lost to Liverpool. But then they must have beat Freiburg again somewhere. That was Salzburg, Liverpool, Freiburg. They beat Freiburg twice. That was what it was. Beating Freiburg twice and beating Salzburg the once. Gave them passage through to the next round, where they'll take on Monaco. The chance of them beating them are very slim, but the fact that they've got there will improve the coefficients that much that we may see an additional qualification space coming very soon. Maybe in a year or 2 we'll see 2 Champions League representatives and hopefully an easier passage into the Champions League for whoever wins the league. But there you go, there's the JD Welsh Premier League at this particular moment. Let's dive into the cups. Who's left in the JD Welsh Cup right now? JD Welsh Cup is down to the quarter-final stage, and 2 of them already been played. So Llandudno and Barry are through. So Llwyd Coed and Ruthin, Llanelli versus Port Madog. That makes up the JD Welsh Cup quarter-finals. The Nathaniel MG Cup is down to the quarter-final stage. We've got Llandudno Junction, Holyhead, Monmouth, Cairo, Ely. Cardiff versus Merthyr is the crunch tie there. Llandudno versus Aberdare. So TNS being out, they've won that the last 2 years. They will not be winning it again. So it'll be a new Nathaniel MG Cup holder coming up. So what everybody will want to know is, what were the big transfers of the January transfer window? And, well, this is how this league grows. And pretty much the reason why Cardiff City are doing so well. In January, Cardiff City bought 3 players for 28.5 million, 22 million and 16 million. Gilsfield spent 14.5, but obviously you got the big dip in form from Newport County, and you look on here and there has been no transfers. So if you look on transfer window, it's done. Newport brought in 1. They brought Danny Ward, and to be honest, yeah, that is a good signing. I've got to be fair. If I was a Newport County supporter on this game, I'd be happy with that signing, because that is a really good goalkeeper for this league. But who else? There's no one. There was absolutely no one. But then you look at the rivals around them. I mean, Wrexham have brought in 4 players. You know, they spent 3.5 million on one of them. So Wrexham spent 5.5 million. Colwyn Bay spent 17.5 million. Swansea didn't really spend. But you see, Cardiff, So Cardiff spent 66 million. TNS spent 11.25 million. Well, Penny Bont didn't really spend. If I was them, I would have done, just to try and cement their place at the top end. But you see what I mean. You know, there's been players, teams who have spent a lot more money than what Newport did. They could have done with spending it on more than just the one player. But then the rest of the teams, I don't know why Llanelli and Llandudno didn't spend any money. Maybe they spent it all already in the summer to try and stay in the division. Kaiasus, they've spent 12.75 million now. That's what I'm talking about. You want to stay in the division, you got to spend the money. And the last time we saw them, they played 11 games and not won a single one. They played 21 games now, and they've now won 2. Is it going to be enough for them to stay in the division? I don't think it's going to be. I think Kaiasus will be falling on the first time of asking, although we had high hopes for them. We'll have a quick look of the Cymru Alliance and see how the relegated teams from the top division are doing. And Bangor were right at the top end. They've fallen down into a relegation battle. How the bloody hell has that happened? And Port Talbot, we were talking about teams who were once proud Premier League teams in Wales, getting back into the Premier League after the Reformation. Llanelli got there, but Port Talbot were on the way, and it looks like their journey's going to be halted and they're going to be sent back down. But Carmarthen are doing okay, Bala are doing okay, but looking at it, Bangor, they're in look. Carnarvon are in 14th in a relegation spot, 27 points. They are 6 points from 6th place, Queen's Park from Wrexham. 6 points away from getting in the playoffs. So one little surge from them, they could go from relegation to promotion. This is bloody mental. This is great. I'm absolutely loving this. It's just mad. What's going to happen? Who's going to win this league? Who's going to win the Welsh Premier League? You just don't know. It's great. Anyway, we've got a season to play out now. We'll look at the player stats at the end. But before we go there, we are going to quickly look at the national team and see what they've done recently. So let's go back there. They drew at home to Spain. They'd done well in this qualifying campaign. So have Wales qualified for another major tournament? And the answer to that question is yes. Wales will be going to the Euro 2020. So obviously they made the World Cup on this like they didn't do in real life. And now they've made the Euro 2020. So for me, I think now, considering the calibre of players breaking through and getting into this Welsh squad now. Personally, I think Wales are going to be regulars now in every major competition. A lot like your Englands and your Germanys and your Spains and Italys. Wales have got a boss squad now. It's looking really good for our national team at the moment. So yeah, what can I say? We press this season on, see how the domestic season finishes off, and the Wales schedule for this year. It's just a couple of friendly matches in March, but then they got the Euros to look forward to. So they'll be drawn, I'd imagine, very soon. We'll have a look at the Welsh progress in the Euros during the first episode of the next season. I'd imagine that'll be. So we'll track that there. Anyway, there we go. I'll see you guys at the end of the season. Okay then, guys, here we are. It's the 26th of May. We're going to go and see the playoff final in the Cymru Alliance. But there we go. There is our final standings for this season. Cardiff have ran away with it, and they've won it for a third year in a row. But they're the ones who decided to go and spend the money. No one else to spend the money. Cardiff spent their money. They do get a fair bit of money, as we showed you at the beginning of the season. But then there's obviously TV money to go on top of what they get. And obviously they've all got decent stadiums, so they're all making money from a lot of fans that are turning up. Because the one thing that we added to this was extra support for all these teams. But then second place Colwyn Bay, they had a good season in the end. Ollie McBurney, one of the best players in the division. Penybont were a very, very new team. Liam Palmer was the best average rating for the division. Swansea in 4th, Barry in 5th, Newport County in 6th, Merthyr in 7th, TNS 8th, Wrexham 9th, and that's where it sort of splits. You've got your top 9 here, and then Llanelli and Down. Holyhead ended up falling, Prestatyn had gone. Real big shock, that one. Caersus only won another 2 games. That's a really, really poor effort in their first season. A lot poorer than we thought it was going to be. So Holyhead, Prestatyn and Caersus go down. Llandudno Junction saved themselves. Kevin George almost went. Llandudno pulled themselves to safety, as did Aberystwyth and Guilsfield. So, about before we go to that playoff final, we look at who won the cups. So the JD Welsh Cup was won by Barry. So Prestatyn, Swansea and Barry are our JD Welsh Cup winners so far. The Nathaniel MG Cup was won by Llandudno Junction against Llandudno. So it was a local derby for the final. Excellent. And it was a 0-0 and it was won on penalties. Marvellous stuff. We may as well have a look at the FAW trophy. Let's see who won that. See if there's any up-and-coming teams from the bottom end we can look forward to seeing. Oh no, that one is still to be played. We'll have a look at that one later. The one thing I want to check before we go to the next, before we go to the playoff final, is going to be, yep, Monaco knocked them out quite convincingly. So Wrexham fell at that hurdle in Europe. So I want to check something very quickly. So this is the main screen for Europe, and this is what you do. You go for nation club coefficients. So Wales and the nation club coefficients are, they're all the way down there. So they're in 33rd, as you can see. Usually Welsh teams are a bit dump, but you've got the 7.125, the 8.375, and now 10.250. So it's getting better. It's 18.5 now. So Wales will jump up to around about here next time round. So they may end up being in the top 20 in this. But as qualification places is the important one. So this is something that we'll also look at checking on a regular basis. So as you can see, we go in at the first qualifying phase, and we got 3 going at the first qualifying phase into the Europa League. Sorry guys. It's actually quite late at night tonight that I'm doing this. So let's get on to that playoff final. So we've clicked to attend this playoff final. Connors Key made it into the playoff final with Carmarthen. This will be a really, really tough showdown. So let's have a quick look at the Cymru Alliance. We clicked to attend the game, so we're going to be going. So in the league table, Gresford and Denbigh were the leading two teams, and they were up there all the way. And then Tom Penter, Newtown, Carmarthen and Connors Quay made up the playoff finalists. Bangor didn't go down in the end, but Portmadog, I mean, we've seen them featured in our first ever playoff final. And hold on a minute, it says something down here. Airbus UK have been randomly chosen over Holywell after both teams finished on 42 points on the same record. So they finished on, well, Airbus and Holywell finished, so it didn't matter, they didn't get into any playoff position or anything like that. Oh, they could have if their goal difference was good enough, but they finished on 2 each, and it must have been the same goal scored for it to come up like that. Been randomly selected to finish 7th. It might just be because they lost less games, or it could be, maybe should have been that Holywell won more games, so maybe they should have, but not for us to decide. Anyway, let's get to this final. Okay, so here we are. Connors Quay have a 3-0 lead over Carmarthen. Obviously, where Connors Quay played the home leg, we're only watching the second leg now. So it is the decisive leg. Carmarthen with it all to do in this one. In front of their own fans, can they turn this tie around? Keep pressing play, but it won't bloody go. Keep double clicking. But the game is underway now. So Carmarthen look like they've started the better team, but looks like Connors Quay are going to get the first opportunity of the game. Oh, they've hit the post. Okay, so we're approaching the half-hour mark. Still 0-0 in the game. For the tie, it's still 3-0 to Connors Quay. So it looks as though Carmarthen have created a few chances, but they just haven't taken anything yet. It haven't been even worth playing a highlight for yet. So it's starting the second half now, so Connors Quay leading the way. Carmarthen have only got 45 minutes left to try and get those 3 goals to get back into this. Well, 3 goals only gets them back into it. They need a 4th to win the tie. If Connors Quay get a goal at any point, you've got to say that's game over. So if Carmarthen can score from this now, it may make things a little bit interesting. And they're in. Oh, he's missed it. That was the chance. That was the chance. Could have completely turned this tie on its head. So all it takes is 1 goal to change the face of a football match. And that 1 goal could have done it. And that could have won them the tie outright, Connors Quay. But they should be comfortable enough. They got 3 goals to sit back on. Carmarthen Town are running out of time. Oh, and that was nearly all over with. Looks as though Connors Quay are going to be the ones who make it to the JD Welsh Premier League. Oh, McKendry trying one from distance and blazing it over the bar. So Carmarthen have been so wasteful. They've created 12 opportunities for themselves. They only needed to take 3 of them. 14 opportunities. And within stoppage time now, and they've certainly run out of time now, Carmarthen. And Roland's looking. So we didn't get any goals in this one by the looks of it, or did we? Oh wait, he's in. He is in. Stick it away. Let's get a goal. Oh, what a challenge. Richards on a yellow card, diving in. But that didn't make any difference, Richards, unfortunately, because your attackers didn't do the job for you at the other end. And that's it. It's all over. Connah's Quay are in the JD Welsh Premier League. They'll join Gresford and Denbigh, who have been promoted also. There it is. Right, guys, we'll do an overview of everything now. So we're back in the JD Welsh Premier League. Let's get on to the player stats. Obviously, Ollie McBurney is the top scorer. Juan Hernandez, 21-year-old, joined Llanelli. Good player as well. Wow. Excellent. Lewis Graben, Andre Ayew, Marco Levaya, Gwyn Jones of Newport County, Alioski and Saponic are the top scorers of the JD Welsh Premier League this season. Richard Saunders, 19-year-old Welsh up-and-coming star. That's in there. See how you look like a lot of the top players are around about the 130 mark now. And remember, just 2 years ago they were around the 115 mark. So it just goes to show how much the league is improving. Laszlo Benyes, Joe Ralls, Liam Palmer, Paul Mason, Lee Davis, Josh Vella, and Ollie McBurney on the assists as well. What a player he is. So let's have a look on the average rating. Liam Palmer was the one who played the best this season. And Eliasson, Alioski Ayew, Levaya, Rory McArdle, 33 years of age, still doing it. And then as you can see the players down that list then who make up our best players of this season in the JD Welsh Premier League. So now, let's go through the leagues and see who finished where. So here we go. We come to the Cymru Alliance. So we know who went up, Gresford, Denbigh, and obviously Connah's Quay, who were the 6th place team. But look at that, that's just mental. The last game of the season, you'd imagine it was anyone from 11th to 3rd could have finished in the playoffs. That's crazy. That's just so oh my god, if only football was like this in real life, that'd be just so exciting. That would, unbelievable. Let's look at the next league. Okay, so Rill, Monmouth and Avonlido go up in this division. Undy, Haverfordwest, what a drop down. And Cardiff Met Uni have been relegated yet again. So 3 relegations in 4 years, and they are now down in the Welsh Alliance League Division 1. That's crazy, eh? They've gone from the top all the way down there. Madness. And apologies, obviously, Portmadog, Goethe and Port Talbot were the teams who ended up going down in the Cymru Alliance. Welsh Alliance League Division 1, them, Flint Town and Aberbargoed get promoted. Greenfield, Barmouth and Dyffryn and Cwmbran Celtic go down. Welsh Football League Division 2, Llanrwst, Pwllheli and Felinelli, I think that's right, go up. Caldicot, Garden Village and Cairo go down. Welsh Alliance League Division 2, Llwyd go up. Blaenau Festiniog go up, and Crossy Kellyog go up. Down go Meliden, Pentraeth and Pontardawe. Didn't do too bad there. Welsh Football League Division 3, Overton Rec, Trefellyn BGC, and there's still a playoff game to be played between Pontyclean and Newport City. We'll have a look at that one. But down go Ely Rangers and Kevin Albion. And in the final, well, Newport City at home with a 2-0 lead. We can only assume the Newport City are going to be the ones who go up there. And then finally, the Welsh National League Premier is Llay and Penicae who go up. So that is the end of season number 3, sorry. Well, it's so close there. I mean, look at that. I mean, on the build up to it, like anyone from 6th place could have ended up winning that league, with like the last few games left. I mean, it's just so close in this, isn't it? I mean, every division is just so close. But there we go. That's the end of another season, guys. That's Premier League. Arsenal won the Premier League, but it's not about England. It's about Wales. Yeah. So there we go. Next time around, we'll see how Wales get on in the Euros, and we'll see if someone can finally knock Cardiff off their perch. But at the moment, they're looking strong. They've spent their money. They've got a very, very good team there. They made very easy work of the division this time around. Will they do the same again next time around? Will the other team start spending their money? Because there is plenty of money there for them to spend. They just haven't been doing it quite yet. So we'll see next time. Thanks, guys. Thanks all for keeping up with this series. Hope you're all enjoying it. I'm, as I always say, thoroughly enjoying this one. This is very exciting. This is coming back with some seriously interesting results all across the plane of this Welsh League. For those of you who want a copy of this, you can find it on the Steam Workshop. Together Stronger. Get the 1.1 version of it. So thanks again, guys. Until next time, cheerio.